place where you belong. Give you strength to carry on. Open your heart, set your mind at ease. Live your life and you'll be free. We're gonna rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising, rise, rise, rise. Keep on rising,
Good evening, everybody. Have we all calmed down? That is the big question tonight. Listen, the rage is there. In a way, I'm not feeling my best tonight, so the rage is kind of a little bit. It's there though. It's bubbling up inside. Alex is didn't manage to come on at the end of the watch along last night because he was in a rage. And if you've listened to the podcast on Patreon, then you will understand why he is in such a rage. Billy will be joining us momentarily. He's just a bit late coming on tonight. If you do enjoy tonight's show, guys, as usual, please do hit the thumbs up button for us. Vital we keep getting those likes in. And of course, if you are new to the channel and you like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit the notification bell, which will notify you when we schedule our live shows or we upload any videos during the day. You can become a member of the Toon Review, of course, if you hit the join button just underneath me and Alex. Listen, some brilliant member prizes coming up. Certainly for Christmas stuff and that brilliant stuff. Again, Spike Milligan, massive shout out. Thank you very much. And of course, you can donate to the channel if you do so wish tonight by hitting the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. We'll start with a comment from Shane, who's been a member now for 23 months, nearly 2 years. Thank you very much, Shane, over there in Australia. Morning, gents. Scrap VAR. Rather get done by human error than get ripped off by a bunch of imbeciles looking at a screen who have no idea. Toon Gamer says rules again being reviewed and changing because of something to do with Newcastle. Defo a conspiracy against us. Paul Tully says, did Trips get man of the match? He played great, but Pope, Tino and Bruno were all next level also last night for me. Talking to Spike, evening TDR family, hope everyone's good. The main story everywhere is the non-penalty that robbed us of 3 points. P.S. I think winter is coming. Yes, snow is falling in my area of the woods. Devonshire Magpie says Arteta represents them quite well, to be honest. Arrogant, ignorant, whiny and fickle, all rolled into one. Less about them from me now. I will never recover from that penalty decision. Never. Geordie J. Gaiman says better than Stato's 3-1 prediction. Don't get him started. He's in a bad enough mood about the match already. Brian says he's gutted, guys, beyond words. Yeah, I mean, look, where do we start? Evening, Jack. Hope you're well, buddy. Where do we start? I mean, Billy, we commentated on the game and, we knew instantly that he was going to give a penalty. I don't know why. We just had a bad feeling about it. It was never a penalty in a million years, and there's been a lot of outcry about it today. It's the main talking point of the match, and it shouldn't be, because what really should have been the talking point of the match was Newcastle's heroic performance, which that's the only way you can really describe it.
Yeah, it was a back to the wall, digging trenches, perfect place to do it, I guess. War of attrition, brave, courageous.
Yeah.
Performance that deserved more than what we got. The problem is it's the interpretation of the law, which is different in Europe than what it is in this country. There is a guideline that UEFA set out at the end of last season, which Stato referred to last night, whereas If a deflection off your body goes onto your arm, it can't be handball. However, they have not implemented it yet, which is the kind of biggie. However, when you're running, a natural part of your body is to run with your arms like that. So it's a natural position when you're running. The difference between the Lewis Miley one and that, there was none, because Lewis Miley's standing still, natural position, arms by his side, running, arms by running with your elbow up. It's a nonsensical penalty. It would have been given 20 minutes before. It was a last gasp attempt to get PSG back in the game. Absolutely no doubt about it.
Kath saying, I'm still wound up. Is that rage? Yes, it is, Kath. Welcome to the club. It's a very strange club to be in, but welcome to it. Evening, lads. Great commentary last night. Why did the VAR not check the handball by Sidana when Isak would have been clean through? Disgraceful decision to give PSG a penalty. I mean, Alex, that's another thing that's come out of this game. That was, if Puig Livramento's is a handball, then Shirina's is a handball as well, because he stops Isak going through on goal.
Yeah, I mean, if they're trying to suggest that is the correct decision, then PSG should have had 2 penalties and Skriniar should have seen red.
Yeah,
he was already on a booking. So we either need to be in column A, in the PSG had 2 penalties and Skriniar's gone, or none of it happens. Those are the 2 only things. If we interpret the rule either way, either column A is correct or column E is correct, whereas he's mixed it, which means he got it wrong. He made a mistake. It's the wrong call. It's not a bad call. It's not a scale. This isn't subjective. It's the wrong call. 100% the wrong call. So the board recommends that UEFA should clarify. So should clarify that no handball offence should be called on a player if the ball is previously deflected from his own body, and in particular when the ball does not go towards the goal. Both of these check. It's no penalty. It's a mistake. And the fact that if you make
it's not like the referee, Alex, could see the ball not bounce off Miley, off Livramento. It's there.
If the referee made the wrong call in real time in his initial decision, we can forgive that. That's fine. It happened very quickly. However, the fact that he's then given time to apply the rule, slowed down several times with replays, he's got it. It's not even that he's got it wrong. He knows the rule. He's refereed in a World Cup final. And I'm at the point now where, how is it? Surely, I don't want to say it. I don't want to say it. We're not Everton fans. I don't want to say it. I'm not going to say the word. However, surely it's not incompetence at that point. He knows the rules. They know the rules. Unless the pressure got to him, in which case, don't referee more games. If you can't handle it, don't referee the games. Ask to go and do League 2. Don't do it.
Absolutely. Francisco, good evening. Long time no hear, matey. Hope you are well. He says, good evening, gents. Gutted by the result, but so proud of our boys. Happy to see most everyone enraged for us, except for a few idiots. I miss you guys a lot, but work and health issues are issues now. Drop me an email, Francisco. Let me know how you're getting on, buddy. Just you know the email address. Get back in touch, matey, because we have missed you. Mary's gifted it.
Stop being old.
Yeah. Mary's gifted a Toon Review membership, and that has gone to Geordie J. Gaiman. So thank you very much, Mary, for your kindness with that one. Look, I know there's a lot of, Arsenal fans, especially out there, who are, rubbing it in a little bit, etc. Look, it's mental because, look, we were done by a decision. They feel like they were done by a decision, but the difference is, look how class our manager was in his interview last night compared to Arteta. That is what you call class, okay? He's hurting. He was hurting last night, Eddie, but he didn't come out and say, we're going to make a club statement with this, that, or the other. The club haven't come out and made a statement kicking off saying they would, how bad it's been. That's twice we've been done by dodgy decisions in this Champions League. Because if you remember at Dortmund, they wouldn't have got their first goal because we should have had a corner, but they give a throw into Dortmund instead. So we've been done twice. But, you get on with it. And yes, we can talk about it tonight about how bad a decision it was, but it's not just that decision last night. It's the decisions that constantly happen with VAR that are ruining the game of football. It's taken away the excitement for me. It's taken away the, the thrill of it. When we scored last night, and I didn't dare press the music button for a while because I thought, oh God, is he offside? Is he not offside? Are they going to do something to try and overrule it? It's beyond a joke now, and it needs looking at. And these absolute imbeciles who are trying now to involve VAR with corners and free kicks, get out. Simple as that. Get out, because you cannot add something to something that is broken, right? If it was working fine, fair enough. But it is completely broken, and you cannot add another two things, corners and free kicks, to VAR because they're incompetent as it is. And UEFA have already banned the VAR referees from last night from doing anything tonight.
Funny that admission of guilt there. They know it was wrong.
Completely, Alex. An admission of guilt, no doubt about it.
So they know that we just deserve the 3 points and we should have won that game, and it's an error on their part.
And it's a complete error. And I would love to know what that conversation was in the VAR room. I'd love that audio to come out and just to hear what reason they could possibly give for that penalty, because I'm boggled. Toon Dave, thank you. Been a member for 22 months, mate. He says, evening, lads. Fantastic by all the lads last night. So robbed by a stupid decision. Can't fault our commitment and passion. How are the lads? Carl Freeburn, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, ref was having a great match until that. It's a shame, just glad the young lad missed them 5 opportunities. Look, they were always going to get opportunities. It was Paris Saint-Germain. The Clone Lad, thank you for your membership for 11 months. He says, some difference in how Eddie reacted versus Arteta. One was wrong call and one was the right call. One acted professionally, the other like a child. Well, a child, I would say, is exactly right. Toon Dave has also gifted a month's Toon Review membership, and that's gone to Macca's. So thank you very much, Toon Dave, for your kindness with that as well. Now, it's been a talking point all day is the VAR. Look, we were shit on, right? Now, we've been on the right side of VAR a couple of times. We've been on the wrong side a lot of times. I'm just going to ask you a question now before we sort of talk about the players. I just want a yes or no answer, right? At this present time, would you scrap VAR, Billy?
No.
No? Okay. Alex?
Yes.
You would. Right. Billy, reasons for keeping it?
It's not a technology that's the problem. It's the people that are running it. They need proper qualified people that know what they're doing behind the TV cameras watching the whole thing. So they get that, then it's a moot point for me. Yeah,
I mean, look, that's what I mean. Do we scrap it until they get the people in who know how to use it? That's the thing. Alex, you would scrap it?
Yeah, I just think at this point it doesn't work. I understand it is the people behind it. I appreciate that. However, there's so much money involved in football. We could lose out on up to upwards of £20 million getting through to the group stages and more knockout games. That's enormous. That's absolutely enormous. That's a lot of money. And I personally I'd push into technology. I'd push into automated line calls. So we've never got any issue with the ball if it is in or out. Goal line technology, but for the whole pitch. The automated offsides that we saw in the World Cup were brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, they were.
I would push more for that. And then we'll just have to... The things that are subjective... Again, it's one of those that you can't do, but I would try and bring more automation into the line calls and things of that nature and offsides, because they're not contentious. They're really simple. It's either in or out, or over or not over. It's an easy way to ascertain that, and then just scrap the rest for now because it doesn't work. Because humans are very prone to error, to bias. They're not up to standard. It's not working. It's every single week, every single club has a story, every single fan base has been wronged, which it's awful. It's poisonous. I just think it just needs scrapping. Send it all automated for a few years, and then we'll readdress this in the future and maybe bring it back.
Alan Kennedy, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, one hope PSG gets stuffed by Dortmund and we win against Milan, and we still get through with PSG getting their just rewards. Indeed. Right. I mean, look, the match started and we basically had 11 fit players plus, Lewis Hall was on the bench, and, it was clear from the off that those 11 on the pitch were going to have to put a shift in and be in it for the long haul. And it started, Billy, the match was to and fro. It was the first half was a really good, entertaining game. Paris Saint-Germain were very cagey, I think, in that first half. Not committing much because I think they were scared of our counter-attack, and we proved that on numerous times, through attacks of our own. We went at them.
Yeah, we certainly held our own first half. We played just as good as football as they did. Looked just as attacking. Okay, they had a few more chances. They were at home. That's bound to happen. We defended well, but when we had to, we attacked, and we attacked with vigor and kind of speed and pace. Yeah, and we were dangerous, and they knew we were dangerous. Simple as that. Yeah, they were scared of us. No doubt about it.
I mean, Billy mentioned, Alex, very early on from the commentary that the Paris Saint-Germain players didn't seem up for it. Once that first 5-10 minutes got out the way and it sort of Newcastle grew into the first half, they didn't really seem committed to going in for tackles, and they just seemed to back off, and they were a little bit scared of us, which is a massive compliment.
Yeah, it is a massive compliment because we're physical, we're dangerous, we're a threat on the counter, we've got technical ability. All the lads have put their body on the line, and they're going to have to fight for. You'd have to fight for anything. They didn't get a win out of that game; it was still a draw. They didn't get the points that they wanted out of that. They're not up for that kind of game, and it's one of the reasons why I don't think they'll ever win the Champions League. They're not up for it. If you put that side, from what we've just seen across those two fixtures, you put that side up against Bayern Munich or Real Madrid, they will get absolutely creamed, destroyed. Not even a contest. Not even remotely a contest. I understand that they've got 4 or 5 players in that squad where their technical level is elite, and Mbappe being one of the best players in the world. We saw that. Some of the tricks and flicks and breakaways between Hakimi, Dembele, and Mbappe, it was magnificent. They were very, very good. They were exceptional. However, in terms of cohesion and overall fight and grit and understanding what you need to be a winner, they don't have that. They don't have that. As soon as they come up against a big boy, they're going to get absolutely clobbered. Because we ain't the biggest. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid, there are people that play like us that also have way more technical quality than what we've got.
Yeah,
they're just they're not. Hence why they were celebrating a draw and only taking a point off us over 2 fixtures in that regard. They're not as big as they think they are. They don't deserve the status in world football that they've got, and all of the praise and all the marketing. It's media hype, it's social media, it's money, it's marketing, and it's not the level that they're at. They don't deserve it, in my opinion. They're not as good as what they're hyped up to be. Until they start putting in these, they did get to a Champions League final. I can't take that away from them. However, they're not there. They're not European royalty. They've not got the history. It wasn't particularly long ago. We all remember only a few years ago when Hazard came out of France and we sort of got Cabaye, Debuchy from Giroud came from Montpellier. That was when PSG started. That was when they were born, in my opinion, which wasn't that long ago. They need to do a lot more to earn their stripes. And they haven't done it yet at all.
Just to bring you up to date with what's going on in Turkey, it's Galatasaray 3, Manchester United 3. There is around 12 minutes of normal time left. Manchester United were 2-0 up. They were 2-0 up, Man United, with goals from Garnacho and Fernandes. And Ziyech pulled one back. McTominay then put Man United 3-1 up. Ziyech pulled another one back, and Akturoglu has scored in the 71st minute to equalise. So they've come from 2 goals down. It is 3-3, just over 10 minutes of normal time left in that game. So I'll keep you up to date with that. Hib says everyone is far too subjective. There should be no grey area when it comes to the rules. So why do these errors keep happening every week? It's totally infuriating. It is. But look, we put it, that second half last night was one of the best defensive displays I've ever seen from a Newcastle United side. We'll talk about Isak's goal shortly. I mean, it sort of blends into the background, if you like, after that second half performance. They were in the trenches, Billy, from the second that the second half kicked off. But we knew that. We're away at Paris Saint-Germain. They were always going to come at us, and we were always going to tire. But when we tired, we just sat back and said, right, break us down. And they couldn't do it. Time after time, when they did get through, Nick Pope was there.
It was a fantastic, disciplined rearguard action. You know, it was a constant bank of 4, bank of 5. And Isak being a passenger in front of him, to be honest. In the second half, why Eddie didn't take him off, I'll never know. Because he offered nothing for us. And that sounds harsh, given the context of what happened in the game, and he scored the goal. But it was just coming straight back time and time again. And we needed anyone just to be nuisance value up the pitch. And Eddie didn't do it. And I think he should have done it. Whether it be Parkinson and Duini, whoever. Just had someone to create a bit of havoc. Just running around even, holding the ball up if they can. Get the ball through the pitch. Because, I mean, Isak was an absolute passenger second half. And I know it sounds harsh to criticise. I'm probably going to get stick for it in the chat. But he was an absolute passenger. We played with 10 men second half.
Well, I think he was knackered. He was just knackered. Well, he's just come back from injury and played two.
Yeah. We did mention that last night. I think
high intense games.
Isak's second half performance is the worst half he's ever played. It was that bad. However, it's allowed because, like you said, he was knackered. He's come back from injury. What else do we expect? But I genuinely think, this is what I said last night as well. I understand not subbing anyone on in a deeper position in case we break the cohesion. I get that. But Isak was never part of that unit anyway. He was the outlet. So there's no real danger of you making a mistake if you're the only outlet. We could have brought Ben Parkinson on and just had an outlet because Isak was just done. He couldn't win a ball. He couldn't do anything. He
couldn't win the ball. He couldn't chase the ball. Listen, we thought Miggy was injured in the first half, and then at the start
as well. Yeah, it's a fair shout.
At the start of the second half, Miggy looked a bit. Well, he couldn't run. However, he seemed to get a bit of spring in his step midway through the second half, and seemed to get a second wind. But I fully believe that Miggy's injury must have been an impact, like a dead leg or something. I don't think it was anything more than that. But interesting. You know, we've criticised Nick Pope a lot. We've praised Nick Pope a lot. Last night, Nick Pope was superb, Alex.
Yeah, I'd probably say that was his best performance for us. This in the Milan game away. I think this raises well, it probably doesn't. It should, because he's a moron, but it should raise questions for Gareth Southgate. It ticks a few boxes. It proves that Nick Pope can operate at the highest level under extreme pressure, under an absolute barrage from the elite in the world. You know, if we come up against France, Nick Pope's defended against Mbappe, and he nearly saved the penalty as well, may I add. But in terms of, if we're talking about his performance, I won't talk about England. I know there's people who don't support England in the chat, fine. So maybe two of those saves, absolutely world-class. Absolutely world-class. If we have any other goalkeeper in the goal last night, we lose 5-1. Simple. We do. I understand some of the kicks weren't great. Some of the goal kicks were poor. And as Billy alluded to yesterday, not that it mattered because it wouldn't have stuck to Isak anyway. However, yeah, he's got that. It's just not good enough in his game. I think he's too old to add it now. But what he does well, God, does he do it well when he's on form? It was elite. No, there's only 5 to 10 goalkeepers in the world that can put up a shot-stopping performance of that quality that he did last night, and that's massive praise. Which is why when we're talking about upgrading goalkeepers, to try and bring somebody in as good as Nick Pope and can kick, bloody hell, you're talking about all the money on the planet. They don't grow on trees. There's not many of them.
Yeah. I mean, look, Paris Saint-Germain had a good chance early doors with Mbappe, and he tried to be clever. As far as I'm concerned, he just tried to be a clever ass and use that little back heel. But Nick Pope never took his eye off the ball, Billy, and that was the main thing. Saved with his feet, which he does so obviously a lot. If he can't get there with his hands, he gets there with his feet. Yeah. But Mbappe should have just swept that in the back of the net, but you know he thinks he's supposed to everyone's station and thought he'd go for a clever little back heel.
Well, what Nick Pope does better than anyone, any other goalkeeper, I think, certainly in England, is make himself big, and whether it's feet or hands or head or neck or ear or anything, just get something in front of the ball. And it was only like 3 or 4 yards out, and he managed to get himself in front. But he made another one from, I think it might have been Barcol or could have been Dembele second half, that he actually had no right to make from 3 or 4 yards out. Unbelievable save. One of the best saves I think I've ever seen.
I think it was Dembele. Yeah, I remember that one.
He had no right to make the save. Bruno Fernandes just hit the post, Man United. Unlucky.
What a shame. This is interesting from Nort. He says, how do you think this result will affect us in the next game? Mentally damaging, or will it be used as motivation to batter the Manchester Reds? We'll answer that in a second because we've got a new member, Martin Brophy. Welcome to Members Club, matey. Thank you for signing up, and thank you for your dedication to the channel. Thank you very much. And Len Simmons, thank you for a $9.99 super chat. Len says, never mind the Magnificent 7. We had the Magnificent 11 who gave their all. They were knackered. Will they have energy for the weekend? Well, Man United at the moment are having a torrid time in Galatasaray, and they've got a longer flight home. So, look, we know we're down to bare bones, but surely what happened in Paris Saint-Germain, I mean, they'll be angry. They'll want to get back out on the pitch immediately and go and get another win. And there's no better one to play against than Man United. It's a James's, Alex.
I don't think the mentality is an issue. I don't think the late goal will hurt our performance for the weekend. I think it's just a case of stamina and recovery. I think we're past that now. And this is what we said at the start of the season. We had shows about this is our season now, regardless of what happens, to build our mentality, to play against Europe's elite, to play the big games, to try and get that determination and grit and winners mentality. We had the wobbles against Liverpool. We bottled the Liverpool game. We've had games where it wasn't right. And I think we've grown and grown and grown in our mentality. I don't think they're scared of Manchester United. I think the players now, I think they're confident. They're fully confident in their own ability. They're fully confident of how good they are on a European level. They know what their qualities are. They know they're good enough. They know they're better than Manchester United. They 100% know that. I don't doubt that. They were scared against Liverpool, but they won't be scared against Manchester United at all. They're not a particularly strong side. They're a good side, but they're nowhere near anything that we've been sort of beating. I don't think they're better than Chelsea. They are higher than the table, I think, but I don't think they're better than Chelsea. We've been beating better teams than them comfortably. We've beaten them this season with 8 changes away from home at Old Trafford. Mentality is not an issue, in my opinion. The issue is going to be stamina and fitness and lack of available options. I think we're going to struggle to win that, and it's a shame because I think it's come at the wrong time. So the Bournemouth game came at the wrong time for us, in my opinion. So has the Man United game. I think, again, put this at slightly different time in the season, we walk over them. Not even concerned.
Well, listen, if we had a full-strength team out last night, a full-strength squad, we'd have battered PSG last night. They are not a good side.
Well, maybe not battered, but I think we would have won 100%.
No, I think, but, the football we play, Alex, we played some of that football in the first half. They couldn't touch us.
If we could have brought on last night Longstaff, Willock, Wilson, Murphy, if we could have brought those kinds of subs on, we don't lose that game. 100% we don't lose that game.
Yep.
But wasn't available.
Just seen an interesting comment there coming in, Billy, saying that maybe take Isak off and put Hall back in defence and show it up a little bit. Put 5 at the back.
Well, we played with 5 at the back anyway. That would have made no
Gordon
sense.
Was left back.
The ball would have just come straight back, wouldn't it? You need
but maybe Gordon could have gone into the middle and maybe give us an outlet.
Yeah, potentially. I guess it would have worked, but I mean, Gordon was knackered as well, wasn't he?
Well, yeah.
He certainly isn't going to hold the ball up, is he? I think Parks would have been the ideal sub, actually, physically in the air, bit of pace about him.
There's a few comments come in though saying Parkinson's not that good.
It doesn't really matter. It's nuisance value. He's not. Yeah. We don't want him to take the ball, flick it over 3 players, and volley it in. We want him to kind of keep their defenders occupied. Because at the second half, it was played. The game was played in one half of the pitch.
Yeah. Now, obviously, there was some standout performances last night. We've already mentioned Nick Pope. The two centre-backs were just colossal. Look, Jamal Lascelles, whatever you think of Jamal Lascelles, he was absolutely fantastic last night. Most of the corners or set pieces that Paris Saint-Germain put into the box, he got his head on them. It was just, they were just rock solid last night, Alex, both him and Fabian Schär.
Yeah, I mean, they had a lot to deal with. 17 shots in the second half, 82% possession from PSG in the second half. Lascelles just got to everything. He made 8 clearances. He won most of his duels. That was basically what he did. He didn't do a lot in anything else because we didn't have the ball in the second half. But he was mobile. He was quick. Mbappe tried a little nutmeg, shot him down, was clever in winning a free kick. Fabian Schär equally. They were very patient and they chose their moments in when to come and cover wide, when to slide, when not to, when to standing tackle. They were very, very careful with it. They played they played like centre halves their age at a top level. It's when you think about a 30-year-old-ish centre half, you think of a super experienced centre half, and then when you factor in the level we're playing at, they fit that 100%. Lascelles and Schär right now are playing like two top-level experienced centre halves, and they look like it last night, and they've been demonstrating it. Schär's been doing it for 18 months. Lascelles now for what? 5-6 weeks.
5-6 weeks, yeah.
It's beyond just a few good performances now. He's done it for a long enough period of time where I'm confident in saying this is just how Jamal Lascelles plays right now, which is lovely to be able to say.
3 minutes of additional time in Galatasaray. We're into that now, still 3-3.
That's interesting. I bet they've had more subs in that game than we had in ours.
Oh, yes. Shane, thank you very much for your $7.99 Australian dollars. He says these players will want to come out and blow Man United out of the water, and they know they're capable of it. Alex is talking about, Lascelles, Billy, and Schär. Lascelles last night going against Mbappe. I mean, Mbappe, there was just a Bobby Moore-esque tackle in the second half, I think you mentioned. When Mbappe tried to go one-on-one with him and he just stood his ground and then put his foot in, took the ball, away you go. It was a captain's performance.
Yeah, he tried to nutmeg him, didn't he? And Jamal just stood strong, took it off him, laid the ball down the line. He had an outstanding game.
Yeah.
He's shed a few pounds since the end of last season. He's to the eye, visibly quicker, both mentally and physically, I think. He's confident in his ability to pass the ball square, short passes, and occasionally he'll pull a long one out of the bag. But defensively, he stands up and he's counted every time the ball comes near him. He clears everything he can. I thought he had an outstanding game last night. As a captain, as a defender, he was outstanding.
Yeah. Jason says Isak's fitness for a pro footballer is shocking. I can't seem to put in a 90-minute shift. Now, this is interesting for me. Alex, I know where he's coming from with this, because even when he was fit, right, and Billy's mentioned this a lot in the commentary, and if you watch him very closely, he does seem that he's out of gas by 70-odd minutes, and this is when he's fully fit as well. I'm concerned at the fitness of our strikers. I must admit, I really am.
Right, taking it into the right context, you've said for a pro footballer, you've got to understand that it's not about that. It's about, he would be fine playing for 17 other teams in the league. Playing for us is very different, because what's required of you as a centre forward is considerably more than what's required of you from a lot of other teams. The physical demand, right?
But is he not? Is he up to that demand, Alex? Or
I think he can be. I think he because he's shown in parts when he's got up to that fitness, he's been able to do that. He's had games where when he's fully 100% and he's ready and he's fresh, he delivers a stronger physical performance and he can last a lot longer. It's just he has had a couple of niggly injuries, and again, I think that's caused through lack of rotation. We need a third striker. We need a bit more depth. And we just need maybe just not to have a season where we're a little bit extra unlucky with injuries. That will help. I feel like he won't get as many niggly injuries. He'll be able to maintain a higher level of fitness for longer. We'll see more 90-minute games out of him. And he'll look a lot stronger. He's had games where he's been absolutely fine. But again, think about this logically. Last night, who was the player who got the most tactical instructions from the manager?
Mm.
It's Isak, because
Yeah,
it's about
I mean,
it's
no
about
idea what he
pressing
was
structures.
saying
It's
to him.
about ball retention. It's about where do you need to press? What do you need to change? And that's highlights how we do things as a club, as a unit. That unit of 11, you press from the front, and Isak's got to do it. If Gordon goes and nobody helps, like Isak has to be the guy, has to block a passing lane, and he's just constantly on the move. So yeah, in a way, you're not wrong. He's not been able to get up to that level really for an extended period of time, but I have faith that he can do if we have a season where we're not absolutely ravaged like this, and maybe we've got an extra forward in, I think we'll be fine. I think he'll be all right. He's still 24. He's got loads of time. He looks good for it. You know,
Well,
see, I'm being positive, guys. I'm not negative.
Yeah,
now.
he's got loads of time, but Newcastle may decide to go and get another striker who's going to give him a run for his money.
I fully expect that. That's fine.
The point of it for me was straight after the game, 2 seconds after it, he was being interviewed. For me, I'd want a player not able to give an interview after that kind of performance, second half.
Yeah. Foxy says, by the way, we're all pretty much had Dortmund as the whipping boys of the group. Fair play to them. They've done well and qualified already.
They were very lucky to get 6 points off us, though. Very lucky, in my opinion.
Yeah. It could have been very different games. However, it wasn't, and they are through, but we're not out of this yet. Yes, we've probably got a better chance of going into the Europa League now, which keeps us in Europe after Christmas. And if somebody had said to you before the Champions League groups had kicked off that we take 4 points off Paris Saint-Germain and we've got a chance of taking 4 points off AC Milan, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So we have an opportunity to still have a very, very good European season. And I think with the players we've got, the determination they've got, the skill that we've got now, I think we can give anybody a game. I really do. Genuinely think we can give anybody a game. Yes,
I have a question for you. It's something that me and Billy have been speaking about recently. I think it was when you wasn't there. I think it was when we were doing a podcast of some sort. And I want to get your opinion on it. And everybody else as well could be interesting. So Paul Tully's just mentioned we need a striker who has pace and is a nuisance. We don't really have that up front. So I had the sort of, not an epiphany, wrong word, but I had the idea the other day of we never replace Chris Wood in terms of having a physical person up front. I'm not saying we need somebody like Chris Wood. I'm saying we need somebody like Chris Wood who's considerably stronger and better and better at football. I'm going the opposite way from pace. I think we could do with somebody who's a bit more of a brute, because we just don't have that at the moment, because Callum's declined.
Alexander Mitrovic.
Well, I mean, there's an example, yeah. But I think Wilson is still a fox in the box, but has physically declined to a level where he's not that anymore. And that's just my opinion. He's still hyper-clinical and he's a crazy good striker, but he's not got that. Isak, kind of somewhere in between the two, more of a wide forward. But, I just think we're missing that bit. We're missing, we're missing that big lump, sort of even a Demba Ba. In that kind of frame, and then people are talking about Boniface and Osimhen and Mitrovic. Yeah, somebody at Füllkrug. Dortmund had Füllkrug. Yeah, we don't have that big. It's somebody we could need in certain games, and I feel like it's a profile that's missing in our squad.
Yeah.
It could be useful. My opinion. So
interesting from Rachel. She says, "I'm sorry, Isak wasn't given everything last night." She's not the only one that thinks that, but it's everyone's opinion. Now, what I do want to touch on just before we start the player ratings is Lewis Miley, because he came into a situation last night where, for a 17-year-old kid, against a very, very strong Paris Saint-Germain side, but he didn't look out of place at all. Yes, he was tired at the end. He was just walloping the ball anywhere, which I think all of them were, to be fair. But what a shift he put in, Billy.
No, it was outstanding. I think I made the analogy last night that him playing in the front garden with his back garden with his brother is exactly the same as playing at the Parc des Princes. Nothing phases him. Put whatever you want in front of him, he'll come through it. And last night he was bloody fantastic. He became a proper man last night. He really did. The shift he put in was outstanding. Taking into account he's 17, it's phenomenal. It's mind blowing what potential this kid's got. He's got 15 years of first-class football in front of him. What's he going to become? That sky really is the limit for him. It's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable that we've had this kid sitting in the youth team, comes into the first team and just looks like he's playing with the youth team or in the back garden or playing headers and volleys with his mates. It's just unbelievable. It really is.
Toon Gamer, thank you very much for your first ever super chat on a live stream. $4.99. He says, do you guys think PSG should be punished for surrounding the ref all the time, bullying him, trying to persuade his decisions, especially the penalty?
I think Mbappe was lucky not to get booked because he was constantly complaining at the referee. That was dissent essentially.
Kick the ball away as well. Shirt tug, yellow card. Joe Linton's first errant tackle, shall we say, was not really a yellow card. It was booked for.
Yeah, Ian, I know if PSG media scored Miley a 4.7. I mean,
that's it.
Listen, I mean,
oh dear Lord.
What did Ugarte get? I wonder what he got.
I do not like Paris, right? I don't like Paris as a place. I don't see the fascination of Paris. They call Paris this romantic place. It's a shithole. I've been there a few times now, and it's a shithole. You know, you've got people like standing around by the Eiffel Tower and that, begging for money, and then just pissing themselves in front of you, and it's just a horrible place. Last time I was there was an old woman walking around with a basket trying to get money off you, and then she just decided just to squat and piss right in front of the kids. Just ridiculous. But it's just a stinking hole. I can't stand it. If the Eiffel Tower wasn't in Paris, no fucker would go there. Right? I'm telling you now, nobody would go there.
They do in Blackpool.
Well,
same thing, innit? I was getting mixed up.
I would rather go to Blackpool than Paris, to be honest, Billy. They call it the city of love. It's the city of fucking stinking rats. That's what it is. It's not a nice place.
Can I bring it back to Miley very quickly? Although this conversation is amazing.
Yes.
Lewis Miley, we had a nice conversation at the beginning of the season where Eddie Howe essentially said he wanted to keep Lewis Miley in with the first team for the season for the training benefits and to try and give him some minutes throughout the season. Then you think it would be better for his development. There were a lot of people saying that was the wrong decision and we should have loaned him out. It's worth mentioning that. So to the people who did say that, you were wrong, because if Miley was out on loan last night, who plays in midfield? We would have been buggered. So another reason to trust the management for these kinds of decisions. They sit in an office and think about this as an entire unit very much more carefully than we do. And we're damn well lucky that we had him as an extra body.
Julie J says some parts of Paris are nice, others, however, as said, are shy. Not anymore. Everywhere's shy. Frog-eating twats. Anyway, let's move on to the player ratings. And we'll start off with goalkeeper Nick Pope. Billy?
It's the most obvious 10 you're ever going to give. He was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
As I said, he's made saves that he had no right to making last night. What I also liked about him is he commanded his box, he marshalled the defence, he came out and caught crosses. Yeah, nothing he could do about the goal. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, 10 out of 10 for me as well. I thought he commanded his area very well, came out, caught the ball a few times. You can complain about his kicking if you want to complain about his kicking, but I think that's quite harsh. He had no target. Let's be honest, there was no target, man. So 10. His saves were outstanding. Alex?
It's got to be a 10 just for some of the level of some of the shot stopping. The early sweep when Mbappe was played through as well was really nice. He was quick off his line, understood, read the danger well, claimed early crosses pretty nicely. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I can give. I want to give him a 10, but I feel like a 10 should be reserved if he has a good game kicking as well as all of those things. But I just feel like some of the saves were so elite, it has to be a 10. Got to give him a 10.
Yep. Right, we'll move across to Kieran Trippier, Alex.
Oh, it's a tough one. That's a real tough one. Oh God, I'll go with an 8. I'll go with an 8. I think that's fair. I think we didn't get to see as much offensively from him. reasons. It was a very difficult game. Everyone was knackered. He did get beat a few times, but I thought that whole side worked together really well. Him and Miggy had a great understanding together, defended together. That was really important. I know that's not technically just rating Trippier, but the movement was really great. They helped each other, and that was really, really important. He was solid. 8. We didn't really get anything going forward, but not his fault. Yeah, really, really good. I'll give him an 8.
Yep. Billy?
I'll give him a 9. The tackle on Mbappe in the first half and then sprayed the ball across the pitch was fantastic. We was caught out a few times, but we're talking about kidding Mbappe. You know, he's a fantastic player. So all in all, yeah, I thought he was really good. 9 for me.
Okay. Oh God, I'm stumped on this one, to be honest. More 7MDs giving him a 3. Please explain why. Jesus Christ.
Arsenal.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, I'm going to go with an 8 as well, I think. It was very solid performance again from Trippier. I'd just like to see your first half, a couple of the deliveries weren't where they should be. And I think, you know, that's something that really keeps annoying me about Trippier is 1 minute he's fantastic with his set pieces and then the next he's not. But listen, he put in a quality defensive performance, so an 8 for me. Right, we'll move to left back, Mr. Livramento. Livramento is getting a 9 from me. I thought he was outstanding yet again. Bombing forwards, trying to play the ball across, cutting in on his right, going down on his left. Listen, this guy is clearly a star of the future. There is no doubt about it. We have one hell of a player in our ranks now for years and years to come. Billy?
10 for me.
Okay.
Made the goal. Defensively fantastic. Young kid on the wrong side of the pitch for him. He's fantastic at left back, and dare I say it, he should be in the England squad because he covers both positions equally as well. Fantastic performance, but that little bit of trickery as well he's got to his game. Kid's an absolute star. 10 for me.
Actually, you've just reminded me about that run. I'm changing to a 10, and I'm allowed to change because Alex does it all the time. Alex, Livramento?
I mean, yeah, you've got to be a 10. Anybody giving him lower than a 10, I don't quite know how you can do that because there were, I mean, if I'm trying to be harsh on it, there were a few times Dembele got free on the left-hand side, but that was generally when he had help in build-up with Hakimi and Fabian Ruiz, and they were playing little intricate passing sequences and flicks to try and get loose. And that's not exclusively Livramento's role because there's 2 or 3 players covering there. If you get tricked, you get tricked. So if I'm hypercritical, maybe that's something we need to work on. But I feel like that's not solely his responsibility. That's somebody needs to read the run. Yeah. His pace, keeping up with everyone, his defensive contributions. He had Dembele in his pocket for a lot of the game. The driving run across the box past 5 players for the goal, absolutely outrageous. Just incredible. Yeah, Billy's right. He's got to be in the England squad. Yeah, he's got to be just for his versatility. Yeah, 10 out of 10. He's incredible.
Mrs. Toon Reviews just putting out there that the next merch order is going in later on tonight. So if you are interested in merchandise, obviously it doesn't look like the lanterns are going to get the 35 orders that we need to place an order. So this is available to hang on your Christmas tree. Why wouldn't you want that on your tree? Daisy leading the way. I don't know where she's taking the 3 of us, but it's obviously somewhere nice and special.
Paris.
Again, no chance. And then you've got the Toon Review star. Why not have the Toon Review logo on your tree? And of course, this, which many people have been asking for, is the Toon Review travel mug. They are available now on the website at thetoonreview.co.uk. Susan is putting an order in later on tonight, so please make sure if you want something, put your order in the next, I would say the next couple of hours, guys, because Susan will be ordering late tonight. So get on the website, thetoonreview.co.uk. Right, guys, we'll do the 2 centre backs now. We'll rate them together. Alex?
Tens. They both deserve 10s. I mean, the penalty in the build-up to that wasn't their fault anyway, even though it shouldn't have been a penalty. I don't think they put a foot wrong. I mean, things that were wrong with our game were that nobody could retain the ball, play it out. We couldn't get any possession. There wasn't an outlet. None of that is to do with Fabian Schär or Jamal Lascelles. And anything that we could have improved on wasn't their fault. I felt like they played as well as they could.
Yep.
They, with Lascelles drawing fouls, Fabian Schär with a couple of good long balls, first half. They were exemplary, magnificent centre halves. 10 out of 10 for both.
Yep, same for me. 10 out of 10. They were just magnificent. I mean, Fabian Schär put his body on the line again last night with a few shots that he just blocked magnificently. Lascelles was clear in every ball that came in with his head. They just stood like man mountains for us last night, and hats off to them. They just did everything to stop Paris Saint-Germain from scoring. And sometimes in football, you're not going to be attacking and playing wonderful football all the time. It's about grit and determination at the other end. And by God, they showed that in abundance last night. It was magnificent. Billy?
Yeah, 10 apiece. Just outstanding. Brave, courageous performances from both. You can't give any less than 10. Super, both of them.
Okay. We'll move on to Bruno now, Billy.
Hard one to kind of score, but first half he was fantastic. Second half defensively involved as well. I'm going to give Bruno a 9.
Okay, Alex?
That's a tough one. I think I'm going to go with the 9 as well. I agree with that. I'm just looking at data. 0 out of 6 long balls. Do we blame Isak for that again? I'm going to have to watch. I am going to watch the game again. I'm going to hate it. I always watch games twice. I'm going to have to watch this again. God help me. But ground duels, 7 out of 12 ground duels. He was very, very competent in midfield against some of Europe's elite in midfield, especially Fabian Ruiz and Ugarte, who was considered one of the best defensive midfielders in Europe on offer and went to PSG. Bruno is just, as we know, top dog. Like, put him in Real Madrid or Bayern Munich tomorrow, he's fine. It's absolutely fine. I would have liked maybe the reason he's not a 10, a little bit more offensively with some of the opportunities he had further forward.
He had a couple of chances to shoot in the first half and he didn't.
Yeah, guilty of overplaying a little bit, I think. And possibly when we were struggling with ball retention, it's players like him that have the ability to try and do that for us. I was hoping he was maybe going to do that in the final 15 minutes when we were really struggling. We needed somebody to just retain the ball a bit, and I was hoping he would. And he had a go, but yeah, that's the only thing. All I'm doing is justifying why he's not a 10. By the way, still outrageously good. 9 out of 10.
Yeah, 9 for me as well for exactly the same reasons. But I just want to say he's been guilty of that in the last few games, Bruno. When he's been in a really good shooting position, he's decided not to shoot. And I just think he's lost a little bit of confidence with his shooting.
You think it's instructional?
It could be instructional, yeah.
Well, it could be, but at the same time, when he's on the edge of the box and he's got the space there to fire in a shot, we know Bruno can hit a football. He hasn't hit the target lately.
But maybe it's about possession retention, working the high value opportunity, because we do that more this season. We're working the chances.
We do,
until
but
they
sometimes
are
just talking what I'd like to see. Not I'd like to see him try a few more shots. I'd like to see us, get the ball in the box a little bit quicker when it goes out wide and we've got an opportunity to cross it. I think we come back too much and retain. Yes, we're retaining possession by all means, but sometimes it's a little bit frustrating when we don't ping that ball in. And you can understand possibly the strikers getting a little bit frustrated with that when they get into positions in the box and the ball's not coming in. And the next time the strikers aren't expecting the ball to come in, it does come in and there's nobody there. So it's catch-22 at the minute, but I'm sure they'll.
It was a disciplined performance, wasn't it? Because he was
knowing
if he was going to get. That's the kind of game usually Bruno gets booked in. He'd have done something. He'd have kicked somebody. He'd have pulled somebody back. But he just stayed on the level and didn't get himself booked. And if he had got himself booked, of course, he'd have missed the Milan game.
Well, of course, the man we're coming on to next, Joelinton, he did get booked. But I thought he was extremely disciplined after that. He kept himself out of trouble. But Joelinton, for me, again, you can't take anything away from the work rate yesterday. He was helping out in defence. I'm going to give Joelinton an 8 for yesterday. I don't quite think he was up to the level of Bruno, but I'm going to give him an 8. Billy?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. But complete effort to the cause again.
Yeah.
You know, he just put himself about, got harshly booked. It was never a yellow card, not considering some of the other things that were going on in the game. Yeah, definitely 8 for me.
Alex?
Yeah, not quite as good as Bruno, but still very effective. An 8 we could have done with some more legs from him, but I think we can say that about everyone on the pitch. It's just not their fault.
Yeah.
We can't. It's just not their fault at this point. They're not robots.
Lewis Miley now, Alex.
I'm going to give him an 8 as well. However, I'm going to highlight that with. Yeah, I'll give him an 8. I think it was a high 8, but we don't do high 8, so it's an 8. But I want to highlight the fact that he actually looked.
Hang on a minute. Whoa. What? An 8 is an 8.
I know
There's only one number 8. What's a high 8? Are you Steve Bruce here?
It's because
with a false 10.
A false 10, yeah. It's because we're marking 2 midfielders. I feel like I'm giving them both 8s, but I feel like Miley did have a marginally better game than Joe Linton, but not enough to justify him a 9. That's what I mean. I mean, it was really nice seeing them next to each other because you could see that Miley has better technical quality than Joe Linton, which is hilarious because Joe Linton is decent technically and an absolute monster. But there were a few things that Miley did that were like, but you know, you're showing up Joe Linton a little bit there. And then he was in the right place at the right time to go and cover Trippier when Miggy was out of position, when he was struggling, which I thought was very mature of him. He got blocks in the right places. He read the game fairly well. He understood where he needed to be at those moments. So, and again, I know we don't want to over talk about his age, but for his age in that kind of game where you're basically being sieged and you have to, you're watching Moane, Ramos, Mbappe, Dembele, and you're trying to Barcola, you're trying to look at people all floating and changing positions, slipping in behind, beating the offside trap. He understood where to be at every given moment. We didn't lose the game through any fault of his. He was absolutely perfect. He did everything we needed him to do, and he tried to release us on the counter attack a few times. It didn't quite work. So yeah, I'm giving him an 8, but I do think he had a slightly better game than Joe Linton.
Okay, Billy,
I'll give him a 9. The defensive discipline second half, as that was mentioned with Miggy kind of not being at 100% fitness, to sit in with Trippier and helping with Mbappe and Hernandez was outstanding. So I'll give him a 9.
Yeah, I'm giving him a 9 as well for exactly them reasons. I thought, you know, considering he's 7, we keep forgetting he's 17 years old. He's you look at him and he looks like one of those little plush teddy bears. You know, he's just such a young kid, but with such an incredible mature head on his shoulders. When he's got the ball, he just does not panic. You know, there was times last night, and Billy, you'll remember when we commented on it. He had 3 players around him, Paris Saint-Germain players around him. And he just stays calm. He doesn't panic. He doesn't belt the ball anyway. There was once he was cheeky enough to, on the far side, he had 3 Paris players around him, and he had the cheek to backheel it off Mbappe's shin pad out for a throw in. It was just incredible, and it just. The guy is just full of confidence and you know, brilliant. Yes, Francisco. Yeah, we did. The youth team won 2-1, which, given how their European campaign's gone, is quite the result. Len Simmons, thank you for your 199 super chat. Alex was trying for a cheeky 8.5. Well, he can keep trying. We don't do halves on this channel. Right, let's move to the front 3 now. We'll start with Gordon. I'm going to give Gordon a 9 because I thought his work rate, and I'm not talking about going forward here, but the amount of times he came back in the first half as well to help out Livramento, the doubled up on they seem to be using Dembele more than the worm Mbappe in the first half, certainly the first half an hour. And I just thought Gordon was back there helping. His work rate was sensational, so a 9 for me. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 10 because I think he was done after 35 minutes and he didn't care. 99% of modern footballers in the professional world today, they whinge, they complain, they just take me off. I'm not feeling it. He was done. You could see he was done after 35 minutes. That is, in my opinion, that's one of the fittest players in Europe, and we broke him last night. I've never seen the poor boy so tired. 35 minutes, he was done. And the amount of defensive sprints, recovery runs he was putting in 75th minute, 80th minute, 85th minute, he ran his absolute soul into the ground for us. And he's not from the Northeast. He was born a Blue, and for him to absolutely bleed for the shirt last night when he was done, I've got to give him a 10. The mentality, I fully trust a man like that. Like he deserves all the minutes. He deserves all the minutes, because if he can give that, absolute 10 out of 10, Stonewall 10.
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah, from a defensive point of view, was just phenomenal work shift he put in last night's shift with Hakimi and Dembele on that flank. He spent the most of the second, in fact, all of the second half in his own half, helping out, even when he was slightly under the weather, let's say, with after that knock he took first half. Yeah, I think I'll give him a 10 as well.
Oh, you twat, you've converted me to a 10. There you go. Miggy Almiron, I'm giving Miggy a 10. I thought he was sensational last night. And listen, I've criticised Miggy over the years he's been here, but you know what? When he plays like that, and you know, he was taken out pretty heavily twice in that first half. One which somehow escaped the booking. The next one did get a booking, which actually, you know, done him in. I just thought one thing about Miggy was last night that he was hurting last night. Certainly towards the end of the first half, he was in agony. But he did not stop. He tried. He pushed himself. He went to the limit last night, Miggy. And, you know, I'm just, not just Miggy. Those players last night made me so proud to be a Newcastle United fan. I mean, the effort that they put in last night to get a result for that badge was sensational. So 10 for Miggy. Alex?
Mate, there's people giving him less than a 10 in the chat. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
I'm not even looking.
Yeah, absolute 10. If I'm giving Gordon 10, Miggy's 10. In the first half, he was winning physical battles against the best players in the world. Mbappe, not just physical, but his decision-making to go left, right. He was robbing the ball off them and creating counter-attacks, relieving pressure. And he got the shot, which got the goal for Isak. Defensive contributions were elite. He was also in the same shoes as Gordon, and that he was absolutely done physically, and he would not stop running for the cause. Absolute 10 out of 10. Freak of nature in terms of his stamina. He's probably still. He probably went to bed last night, and is you know when dogs pretend they're running in their sleep, it was probably still going. He's just never ever.
I could imagine
stopped.
that. Yeah, can you imagine?
He's doing a little bit of head bobbing and little.
His partner saying, Miguel, you're running again in your sleep. You're running, Miguel.
Pressing triggers,
Yeah,
mi amor.
absolutely.
Sorry.
But to be hurt when he was, and then continue to the 98th minute was just Billy.
Yeah, it's definitely a 10. And that moment where he robbed the ball off Mbappe, Mbappe followed him, trying to get it off him, was having none of it, and past him, got the ball away.
Yeah.
If you're giving Gordon 10, you have to give Miggy 10. It's the same work shift as what Gordon's put in, and contribute to the goal also. So unbelievable performance from him, considering he was hurt. 10 for sure.
Yeah. And you know what, Foxy, your comment's right. He is continuing to prove people wrong. You know, when you look at Miggy, sometimes, listen, Miggy will always frustrate you. He's one of them players. But one thing you can never accuse Miggy of is never giving it his all for this football club. And that's why, you know, I think I'm starting to really love Miggy more and more.
It'll be a very
more
sad day when he leaves the club.
Yeah, because he's got that enthusiasm that it just explodes, doesn't he? He's brilliant. And sometimes he frustrates the hell out of me when he doesn't try with his right foot, and he will continue to frustrate the hell out of me. But by God, I really do love the kid. He is just incredible. His enthusiasm for the shirt, for football is unbelievable. So, you know, 10s all round for Miggy. Right, we'll move on to Jazz. Thank you very much for your $1.99 super chat. No comment there, but thank you for your donation. Isak, Alex.
Isak gets a 5 from me. So he gets a 5. So I'm starting him at 0, just so we're aware. I'm starting him at 0, and he gets up to 5 because he scored and he was in the right position for a decent early chance that he put over the bar. And then he didn't do anything else for the rest of the game. So I can't give him any higher than that. So I'm not docking him anything. I'm just taking him up to a 5 for his attacking contribution. And I can't score him any more points because he didn't do anything else. He literally didn't do anything else. So that's how I feel.
I mean,
about it.
I'm seeing
not
people
budging.
giving them 8s and 9s. How the hell can he give it?
Well, context, fine. He's not fully fit yet. He's come back from injury.
I know he scored,
fine, but we've got to score what we saw, and that's what we saw.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Billy?
Yeah. I just thought we needed more than him second half. He was a complete passenger, whether he was knackered or not. I just felt that the effort wasn't there. Whether he could make it because of his state of fitness, I don't know. But, to kind of do an interview after the game where he's not sweating, he's not out of breath. To me, it kind of tells me that the effort wasn't there. And it's a hard thing to say, but I think 5's fair.
Well, I think 5's fair. I'm going with a 4. Look, the reason I'm giving them 4 is, right, if you look at the other players that we've rated tonight and said they were out, they were totally gassed, they were out. Alex, you've mentioned Gordon after 35 minutes, completely gassed. Miggy, injured in the first half, completely gone. But you look at them in the second half when they were completely gassed. Lewis Miley completely on his arse. But they kept going. They were running around. They just kept on going. And Isak didn't do that for me. And if I'm being honest here, I'm worried about Isak.
I'm not questioning that. I don't have the same thoughts as you on that regard.
No, that's fine, Alex. And
I'm not questioning
my opinion.
Whether
I'm not questioning his attitude. I'm questioning his fitness, right? I'm questioning it.
I think he would have done if he could have given it. I just don't think he'd got any more to give.
Right. I understand that. But what I'm saying is my take on Isak is sometimes when I'm watching him, I don't like his effort. I've got to be openly honest. And this is when he was fit as well. Sometimes...
But there have been games where he's pressed very well.
Yes.
So he can do it.
He can do it. Of course he can. But he chooses sometimes not to do it.
Is it a choice, though? Is it that we just need to get him up to that level, fitness-wise?
Well, Alex, there's my point. Fitness-wise, is he ever going to be at that level? Fitness-wise,
this is what we talked about. Once he's
been here a long time now.
Yeah, but once we can rotate effectively, where he doesn't have to get rushed back and doesn't have to play all the minutes.
Absolutely, but that's where I stand on him at this present time.
Yeah.
Now,
I don't think I can answer the question, and nor can you. I don't think anyone can. No, we're not sure yet. We've got to wait and see.
This is just my personal opinion, and for what I've seen when I've been live in the ground and I've watched him in front of me and I've watched him doing the commentary. Sometimes I question it, and Billy, I know Billy does as well, because he gets frustrated by. Sometimes he'll sprint after the ball. Next minute, players are just running by him, and he's not even trying to make a tackle. And you kind of think, well, why? But listen, that's not to say that Isak isn't going to become a wonderful striker for us. I'm not ruling him out of anything. I'm worried about him as now because of his fitness, just his fitness. His football ability isn't in question, not at all. But his fitness is. And when you've got players like Anthony Gordon and Miggy Almiron running around the pitch, hurting and completely out of gas, but they still don't stop. And then you see Isak.
But I feel like they were fully match fit. They're able to give that because they're fully match fit. Isak is not fully match fit.
There was times in that second half that Isak just wouldn't even try and get the ball, and it was right next to him
because he was gone. He was spent. You could see he was like Bambi when he was trying to retain the ball. Like in the last sort of 10 minutes, he got the ball once and he made 2 touches, and he just looked like Bambi. I genuinely think he couldn't. I just don't think he could.
Well,
and it might not be necessarily about
people's
it. Might be legs
opinions on him, isn't it? It's just.
But Billy mentioned that rearguard action isn't Isak seen.
No, it's not. I agree.
He's not that kind. It's not that kind of player who's going to run around chasing forlorn causes all day.
But I'm just trying to play devil's advocate. Billy mentioned about he didn't look overly tired in his interview. Maybe it wasn't the gas tank that was gone. Maybe it was the legs. Maybe it was lactic acid. Maybe it was cramp. It might not necessarily. Match fitness isn't just down to the gas tank necessarily.
It's mentally as well. It's mental,
and that, yeah.
Look,
I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
People are getting the wrong impression in the chat because Kev's saying this is funny. We have a super talented forward who's scoring levels per minute better than Haaland, and we're questioning. I'm not questioning his ability. I'm questioning his fitness right now, and I want to see what a fully fit Isak can do. That's all I'm saying. I'm not criticizing his football ability, or I'm not putting him down and saying, "Oh, he's useless. He's not going to do anything for us." I'm worried about his fitness. That's all. There's a very big difference to worry about somebody's fitness than worrying about their football and ability. And this guy is class.
I'm getting really rattled by King Hoddle now. I understand. I know you wouldn't tolerate this at Spurs, but let's just remind you what he did to you last season.
Well, yeah, he did destroy
down
Tottenham
with it.
last season, yes. But that's what I mean. I want to see Isak have a run of games where he's fully fit. And do I think he can destroy teams when he's fully fit? Absolutely. Absolutely, 110% I do. I just want to see him fit. But right now, as it stands, I'm worried about his fitness levels. But that's
the problem with him last night probably wasn't his fault. I'll blame the manager.
well, we're coming on to him because there was no substitution. So, Billy, you may as well start on Eddie Howe.
Well, the team selection picked itself. Apart from Isak, the others deserved to stay on it, but Isak needed to be took off. Simple as that. And he should have been off. And someone with nuisance value, whether it be Parkinson, whether it be Ndewini, just to run around and keep the centre halves, at it, if you like.
Yeah,
really, and maybe hold the ball up and allow us to get on the pitch a little bit. We just didn't. We had no choice. We started getting deeper because the ball kept coming back. I'm going to give Eddie Howe. We just got points at Paris Saint-Germain at the end of the day. I'm going to give him a 7.
Yeah, I'm going with a 7 as well. I would have liked to have seen Isak come off. And by the way, happy birthday to Sir Eddie Howe. But I'm sure he would have. He'd have been gutted not to get the 3 point. He was gutted last night. He was devastated. You could tell, but he's got so much class about him that he just, he comes across so well in interviews. But behind the scenes, he'd have been gutted last night. But I'm giving him a 7. I'd maybe have liked to seen Lewis Hall come on and maybe shore up the defence. But he did say last night in his interview that he didn't want to. He didn't want to cause a little bit of confusion in the defence. He thought the back four were being very solid, which I can't disagree with. They were solid. So you can understand him on that point of view, maybe not wanting to ruffle the feathers a little bit. So 7 for me. Alex?
No, I'm going to give him a 9. I think to go away, the part of difference with that little rotation option and to set up, again, I feel like it was a score.
Sunderland 0, Huddersfield 1.
Yeah, just come up on my screen. Yeah, hey, Huddersfield, 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 Huddersfield. I'm just screaming that because I know my mother's in the next room watching and listening to Sunderland on the radio.
No, I'm giving him a 9 because I feel like the first half plan was executed perfectly. I felt like the balance of sitting off and when to press and when to go was absolutely perfect. It's the reason we got in front and we scored the goal. That was down to Eddie. I felt like that's something we tried to do against Man City earlier on in the season. I felt like that was the perfectly executed way to do it.
Yeah.
And then second half, I'm not going to give him a 10 because, again, Hall or an Isak substitution coming off, maybe there were things that there was maybe one thing he could have done and he didn't do it. I can't blame him for that. However, away to PSG with no option of changing anything. Yeah. And he's coached the lads to that level and, made them understand the system well enough. He's worked with Jamal Lascelles. He's done all of this. So he deserves a lot of the credit for it. I've got to give him a 9.
Billy the man's got a point. I'm upgrading to a 9. I have to. I have to.
No, it's a simple change for me just to take someone that can't run off and bring someone that can.
Well, that's why I'm not giving him a 10 because I felt like maybe was there scope for a slightly better decision?
I can see where Alex has come from as well, Billy, getting the team ready, coaching the players.
I'll give him an 8. I'll give him an 8 then.
There you go. These player ratings are they're crazy sometimes. Len Simmons, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. Len says perhaps he was told to keep his energy for the weekend because at that point we were winning.
He spoke to Isak a lot on the sidelines. I'd love to know what the conversations were.
Yeah.
You see that over there? When you jump for the ball and you don't win it, try and win it next time. And then he never did. What did he say? I'm so curious as to what because there were a lot of instructions.
Yeah. Surely he wouldn't have said conserve your energy because we need you for Man United. He just took him off, surely to God.
Well, that's Channel Right, thank you for your £2 super chat. Says I totally agree with Billy. So there you go. Rachel's happy that Huddersfield are winning because obviously Rachel lives in Huddersfield, but she's a Geordie. Foxy says it was nearly the greatest ever result for the club when you consider the lack of options we had, the occasion and opposition. How is a 9 for me?
See, Billy, do you change the rating if the penalty doesn't happen?
Yeah, of course I
do.
But then that's not the fault of Eddie Howe. So how does the rating for Eddie Howe change on
Well, it
something
does,
he had no
because
control
I
over?
think if we had someone up front with a bit of legs, they wouldn't have been on constant pressure all the time.
But that's a
honestly believe that.
refereeing decision. So we're altering Eddie Howe's score based on that.
The way the game went, the fact we were pen deep in our half the whole of the second half was because the ball kept coming back to us. We had no outlet.
I agree with that.
If he puts an outlet on, maybe that penalty doesn't come about anyway.
Yeah, but let's say he doesn't put an outlet on, and the penalty doesn't get given because it was the correct decision.
Yeah, but he didn't put an outlet on, and the penalty was given.
Yes,
No,
it's
you
very
changed the
hypothetical,
I'm
Alex.
I'm dealing in facts, not what could have happened.
Yes, Billy's dealing in stats, Alex, which is what you're supposed to do. Facts. Johnson Street, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. Says, well played, Eddie, for keeping us cool. Makes Arteta look like a mug by comparison. Absolutely. Seen a comment there saying there's plenty pink seats in the Stadium of Light tonight. That's because it's cold weather and all the Mackhams are at home making love to the brothers and sisters. That is it tonight for the match review. Thank you very, very much for joining us. Obviously, you know, we were gutted not to get the win, but listen, we've come away from the Parc des Princes with a point. It's still all to play for in Europe. I am sure that we will beat AC Milan at St James's Park. I'm very, very confident of that. We can beat anybody at the Cathedral on the Hill, and long may that to continue. Thank you very much for all your super chats tonight and new memberships. As usual, very, very kind. Thank you so much, guys. Mod Squad, you've been amazing as usual. Thank you very much to Billy and Alex. But as usual, thank you to you guys, because without you, we wouldn't have a show to do. We'd be broadcasting to nobody. So thanks for coming back time after time and spending an hour or so with us three. We're back tomorrow. It all kicks off again tomorrow. It's the Manchester United match preview. So Alex will have his stats ready and his graphics to look at the different sides. And by God, this one, I want to win, right? There'll be no 2-2 in the predictions. I want to stuff these mank asses. I remember what happened in February, right? I will never forgive them for what they did to my daughter in February. I will never forgive them for the abuse, for just being from Manchester. Well, they're not from Manchester, being from London, trying to walk like Liam and Noel Gallagher up the streets, up Wembley Way. You can't do that. You'll come to see United and you can F off home, right? That's how it is. So join us at 7 o'clock tomorrow night. We will be back for the match preview. Obviously, keep your notifications on in case there is a video tomorrow with any latest news from the club. Don't forget, hit the thumbs up button before you leave, guys. Very important to the channel that we keep those coming in. And if you are new and you've enjoyed tonight's show and like what you see, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. And like I say, hit that bell. But thank you very much for watching, guys. We will see you tomorrow. Good night.
Oh, we're the lads and lasses.
Come back and check on to breathe.